Hey, I hope you're doing well. My name is Jake, I'm a big fan of making music, and a few weeks ago I made a video overviewing my pedal board. Now I have a ton of other supplies here in the studio, so for today's installment of the studio tour, let's take a look at what's on my desktop. So this is a wide shot of my desk, and before we talk about anything that's on the desk, I just want to point out that the desk itself is a 48-inch wide Jarvis standing desk from a company called Fully. Now, I don't use the standing feature much, but the precise height adjustment is very helpful in terms of ergonomics, and it's also nice to just be able to push a button, lift the desk up a few inches, maybe a foot, and then, adjust any of the cabling that's going on underneath the desk. Now, under the desk, I have a 61 key MIDI controller. This is Arturia's KeyLab series, and I have the MIDI controller on a plywood stand with wheels. That way I can slide it out when I need to use it and slide it back under the desk when I'm done. Now, front and center on my desktop are my wireless keyboard and trackpad combo. These are both from Apple, so they're very comfortable and they're very durable. I have a lot of junk on my desktop and my computer is stuck way in the back. So these two pieces make it easy to still operate my computer while I'm at my desk. Also, if I'm doing microphone recording work, I can pick these two pieces up, go where I need to go in the room to get the best possible sound, and still operate the computer. Very handy. On the left of the desk, I have this hook which holds my Audio-Technica headphones. That way they're very easy to reach for. And it's actually a 2-in-1 because this hook is a capo. Now, I don't use capos that much, but it's a good thing for every studio to have, so I'm glad I have it right here. Just behind the headphone hook, I have this boom mic stand from Rode, and on that mic stand I have an SM7B. Now, I could make a whole video about the SM7B. It's obviously a very versatile, classic microphone. All I'll say in this video is that this mic lives here on this boom stand because I just use it that much that there's no point to even put it away. I love, love, love having a microphone at my desk that is available the minute I'm inspired, and I couldn't think of a better microphone for that job than this SM7B. So this brings us to the desktop synthesizers. And on the left here, I have my Micro Korg. It's a really funky synth. It's very deep, does all sorts of stuff, leads and pads and bass lines, vocoder stuff. I've barely scratched the surface with this thing, so I'm really looking forward to learning more about this synth in 2025. On the right side of the desk, we have my Yamaha Reface CS synth, and this is an awesome little synth. It's got a really playable keybed for how small of a synthesizer it is, and it has one knob per function, which I find really helpful because I'm just getting into synthesizers, and so to be able to put my fingers on a knob, adjust it, and then hear how that's changing the sound is very educational for me. To the right of my desk, I have this music stand, which is very handy if I'm reading a piece of sheet music or perhaps lyrics while I'm at my desk. It also has a space where I can store all of my pens and pencils. Love that. And the music stand also came with this vertical pole as part of the design, so I took advantage of that, and I have a camera stand here. This is actually the perfect place to mount my camera when I'm doing any of the talking head portions of my YouTube videos. But you can adjust this stand every which way if I need to, take it off of this thing and use it on another shot as well. At the very top of the stand, I have this LED light panel, which is actually on this lock line hose system that allows me to twist and bend it every which way I need, and that's just, again, very handy for when I'm shooting like the talking head portions of my YouTube videos. The camera that lives here is a Sony ZV-10, and I love this camera. I get really fantastic image quality out of it. There was a little bit of a learning curve to how to use the camera, but after watching a few videos on it, I was able to figure that stuff out pretty easily. The camera's not here right now because I'm actually shooting this video with the Sony ZV-10. Now, nothing would be possible in this studio without a very powerful computer. That brings us to the MacBook Pro. This has the M2 chip. It's got 2 terabytes of storage, 32 gigs of RAM. I know there's a lot of nuance out there around how much storage do you need, how much RAM do you need, this computer brand versus that one. All I'll say in this video is that this computer has been really excellent for me. It handles all of my audio work very well. It also handles all of my video work. It gets 2 thumbs up for me. Underneath my computer, I have 4 hard drives. I'm using one as if it's a thumb drive, one is for music projects, one is for video work, and the fourth one is like an archive of all of the stuff that I've completed. In the very middle of the desk, I have this phone stand. Above the phone stand, I have this Samsung computer monitor. It's sort of like my main screen, if you will, and it's a nice complement to the laptop screen for split screen work. I have it on this boom arm so that I can pull it forward and even tilt it to the side if I need to look at my computer monitor from somewhere else in the room. Here I have my skeleton bobblehead. He's here for moral support. And then I have my Mackie Big Knob, which is a volume control. It's basically in between my interface outputs and my speakers so that I have a nice, comfortable, big knob to control the volume for the speakers. It has an input selector so that I can use an aux cord. It also has buttons for listening in mono, which is great for checking stereo phase. A mute button, which I actually use all the time to just shut the speakers off, and then a dim button that drops the volume by, I think it's like 50%, which is really great for listening at a low level. To the left of the big knob, I have my PreSonus Fader Port 1. It's basically a glorified mouse, but I actually really like it. So what it does is it communicates with my audio editing software, which I use Logic, and it gives me buttons for stuff that I would normally have to click on with my mouse. Things like playback controls, muting a channel, soloing a channel, scrolling through my session with this blue knob, very handy, and then also this fader that allows me to adjust the volume of the track and write automation, things like that. And while they're technically not on my desk, I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to talk about my speakers. These are from Kali Audio. They have 8-inch drivers. They're really transparent. They're really reliable. They're probably a little too big for the space that I'm in, but I love them. Well, there we have it. As you can see, I have a ton of gear right here at my fingertips, and that really just helps me act on those moments of inspiration. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so please drop a comment below if this gave you any ideas for how you might change up your setup, or if you want to see me make a video on one of the pieces of gear that I showed off in this one. Please hit the like button if you liked this video, because that informs me as to what kind of stuff you're into. And if you want to see what else I have in the studio, get subscribed and hit the bell because you'll be notified when I post my next video. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much. And until next time, let's go make some music.